The temple is burning. Mount High. 1571. For 1,000 years, Buddhist monks have prayed on this sacred mountain. Tonight they scream. Oda Nobunaga gave the order himself. No exceptions. No mercy. Men, women, children, everyone who sheltered within those walls. The flames climb higher. The smoke carries their ashes into a blood-red sky. His generals watch in silence. Some are horrified. Others are simply afraid. Because the man who commands them doesn't fear gods, doesn't bow to emperors, and has no patience for anyone who stands in his way. This is not a story about a hero. This is the story of a man who looked at a fractured, war-torn nation and decided he would drag it, kicking and screaming, into a new age. Even if he had to burn the old world to the ground. His name was Oda Nobunaga. History calls him many things. Visionary. Revolutionary. The Great Unifier. But his enemies called him something else. The Demon King. So what kind of man destroys everything sacred to save a nation? What kind of leader chooses fear over love, innovation over tradition, violence over compromise? And when the flames finally came for him, when betrayal cut him down at the height of his power, did he die a hero? Or a tyrant? Stay with me, because this is one of the greatest true stories ever told. And if you love epic history like this, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're just getting started. Japan 1534. The country is drowning in blood. 4 decades, the Sengoku period, the age of warring states, has turned Japan into a nightmare. There is no emperor with real power. No central authority. Just hundreds of warlords, each one clawing for territory, for wealth, for survival. Samurai lords betray their own fathers. Brothers kill brothers. Villages burn. Entire families are wiped out overnight. Into this madness, a boy is born. Oda Nobunaga. Son of Oda Nobunaga, a mid-level warlord in Owari province. Not royalty. Not chosen by destiny. Just another piece on a blood-soaked chessboard. And from the beginning, people thought he was insane. While other young samurai studied etiquette, poetry, and the ancient codes of honor, Nobunaga ran wild through the streets. He dressed like a peasant. He hung around commoners and criminals. He sang vulgar songs at the top of his lungs. He ate fruit while walking in public, a scandalous breach of etiquette. They called him the Fool of Owari. His own father was ashamed of him. But one man saw something different. Hirate Masahide, Nobunaga's mentor and advisor. An old samurai who believed the young fool had potential buried beneath the madness. Hirate tried to guide him. Tried to teach him discipline. Tried to make him fit the mold of a proper samurai lord. Nobunaga ignored him. And in 1553 Hirate Masahide committed seppuku, ritual suicide, leaving behind a letter. A final protest against Nobunaga's behavior. A desperate attempt to shock the young lord into becoming the man he needed to be. Nobunaga read the letter. He built a temple in Hirate's honor. But he didn't change. Because Nobunaga understood something his mentor never could. The old ways were dying. Tradition was a luxury Japan could no longer afford. Honor was a beautiful lie that got men killed. When his father died in 1551, Nobunaga inherited a fractured domain surrounded by enemies. At the funeral, he showed up late, dressed inappropriately, threw incense at the altar, and stormed out. Elders whispered that the Oda clan was doomed. They were right, but not in the way they expected. Because Nobunaga's real enemy wasn't outside the clan. It was inside. His younger brother, Oda Nobuyuki, was everything Nobunaga wasn't. Polite, traditional, respectful. Their mother preferred him. So did many of the clan's senior retainers. And they conspired to replace Nobunaga with Nobuyuki. In 1556, Nobuyuki raised an army against his own brother. It was a mistake. Nobunaga crushed the rebellion at the Battle of Ino. His brother surrendered. Their mother begged for mercy. And Nobunaga forgave him. One chance. One warning. But Nobuyuki couldn't let it go. He plotted again. This time, Nobunaga didn't forgive. He invited Nobuyuki to his castle, welcomed him warmly, and then had him assassinated in his own home. The fool had become a killer. The joke had become a threat. And Japan was about to learn that Oda Nobunaga didn't play by anyone's rules but his own. Battle of Okahazama. 1560. Nobunaga is 26 years old. He has maybe 3,000 men. His enemy, Imagawa Yoshimoto, commands 25,000. The numbers don't lie. This should be a slaughter. Imagawa is one of the most powerful warlords in Japan. His army is disciplined, experienced, and massive. He's marching toward Kyoto to claim dominance over the entire country. Nobunaga's tiny province is just an inconvenience to crush along the way. Everyone expects Nobunaga to surrender, to negotiate, to beg for mercy. His own advisors tell him to flee. He does none of those things. Instead, he goes to a shrine. He prays. He performs a ritual dance, not out of superstition but to calm his mind, to focus. Then he tells his men, "We attack." They think he's insane. He waits for a rainstorm. While Imagawa's forces celebrate their inevitable victory, drinking and relaxing in a narrow gorge, Nobunaga leads a small strike force through the storm. Silent, invisible, and then he attacks. The shock is total. Imagawa's men scatter in confusion. In the chaos, Nobunaga's samurai find Imagawa himself, sitting under a tree, confident in his invincibility, and cut him down. One stroke, one moment, one gamble, and the balance of power in Japan shifts forever. Nobunaga didn't win because he had more soldiers. He won because he refused to fight the way everyone expected. He ignored the honorable tactics, the samurai codes, the traditional strategies. He fought to win. And among the prisoners taken that day was a young boy, a hostage from a minor clan, forced to serve Imagawa. His name was Matsudaira Takechiyo. History would remember him as Tokugawa Ieyasu. Nobunaga released him, formed an alliance with his clan, and gained a friend who would stand beside him for the next 20 years. But winning one battle doesn't win a war. And Nobunaga's real war was just beginning. 1568 Kyoto. The capital of Japan is in chaos. The shogun, the military ruler who supposedly governs the country, is powerless. Warlords ignore him. The emperor is a ceremonial ghost. Nobunaga sees an opportunity. A man named Ashikaga Yoshiaki comes to him, begging for help. Yoshiaki is the rightful heir to the shogunate, but he's been exiled, powerless, desperate. He offers Nobunaga a deal. Escort him to Kyoto, restore him as shogun, and in return, Nobunaga will have legitimacy, authority, the backing of tradition. Nobunaga accepts. He marches to Kyoto with overwhelming force. No one dares stop him. He installs Yoshiaki as shogun and positions himself as the true power behind the throne. For a moment, it seems like Nobunaga is playing the traditional game, working within the system, respecting the old order. It's a lie. Within a few years, Shogun Yoshiaki realizes he's a puppet. He conspires with other warlords to destroy Nobunaga. It fails. In 1573, Nobunaga drives the shogun out of Kyoto. He abolishes the Ashikaga shogunate, a dynasty that had ruled for over 200 years. The message is clear. Nobunaga doesn't need legitimacy from the old world. He is the new world. And while his political power grows, so does his military genius. Because Nobunaga understands something his rivals don't. War is changing. The old ways, mounted samurai charging with swords, individual duels of honor, are obsolete. The future belongs to something new. Guns. European traders had brought arquebus, matchlock firearms, to Japan decades earlier. Most samurai lords saw them as dishonorable, loud, crude, slow, not worthy of a true warrior. Nobunaga saw them as the key to absolute victory. He didn't just buy guns. He mass-produced them. trained entire units of Ashigaru, peasant foot soldiers, to use them. He built the largest firearms arsenal in Japan. And then he proved their worth. Battle of Nagashino, 1575. His ally, Tokugawa Ieyasu, is under siege by the legendary Takeda clan. The Takeda cavalry is the most feared fighting force in Japan. Undefeated, unstoppable. Nobunaga marches to Ieyasu's aid with 38,000 men and 3,000 arquebusiers. He positions them behind wooden palisades, creates overlapping fields of fire, organizes them into 3 rotating lines. One firing, one reloading, one waiting. The Takeda charge with the fury and pride of centuries of samurai tradition. Nobunaga's men fire in disciplined volleys. The sound is deafening. The smoke is blinding. And the Takeda don't stand a chance. Horses scream. Men fall in waves. The greatest cavalry force in Japan is annihilated in a single afternoon. 10,000 Takeda samurai die. The age of the sword is over. The age of the gun has begun. And Nobunaga isn't finished innovating. While fighting the Mori clan's navy, he builds Japan's first ironclad warships. Wooden vessels covered in metal plates, impervious to arrows and fire. He promotes men based on skill, not bloodline. He breaks the power of merchant guilds and creates free markets, Rikichi Rakuza, where anyone can trade without monopolies. He builds roads, encourages commerce, protects foreign missionaries because their knowledge is useful. He's not just a warlord, he's a revolutionary. But revolutions are paid for in blood. And Nobunaga is about to write a check that will stain his legacy forever. To unify Japan, Nobunaga needs to eliminate every obstacle, every rival warlord, every defiant lord, every institution that refuses to bend. And the most powerful institution in Japan isn't the emperor or the shogun. It's the Buddhist monasteries. For centuries, temples have been untouchable, sacred, protected by tradition, by faith, by the respect of the people. But they're also armed fortresses. They command armies. They collect taxes. They shelter Nobunaga's enemies and fund rebellions against him. Nobunaga doesn't see temples. He sees military threats hiding behind religion, and he treats them accordingly. 1571 Mount High. For 1,000 years, the Enryakuji temple complex on Mount High has been one of the holiest sites in Japan. Warrior monks Sohei pray, study, and train there. They answer to no warlord. When they shelter rivals of Nobunaga and refuse his demands, he doesn't negotiate. He surrounds the mountain with 30,000 troops. He gives one order: burn it. All of it. The flames begin at dawn. Buildings that stood for centuries collapse in hours. Monks who try to flee are cut down. Those who hide are burned alive. Men, women, children. No exceptions. Thousands die. The sky over Kyoto turns black with smoke. Japan is horrified. Mount High was sacred, untouchable. How could anyone? But Nobunaga doesn't stop. 1574 Nagashima. The Ikoiki, militant Buddhist followers of the True Pure Land sect, have been waging guerrilla war against Nobunaga for years. They've killed his brother, ambushed his armies, turned entire provinces against him. They fortify themselves in Nagashima, a fortress surrounded by rivers and marshes. 20,000 people shelter inside. Monks, peasants, families. Nobunaga lays siege for months. His armies build walls around the fortress, cutting off escape. When they finally breach the defenses, the survivors try to negotiate surrender. Nobunaga refuses. He orders his men to build wooden palisades around the fortress. Then he sets them on fire. 20,000 people burn alive. The screams can be heard for miles. It's not war. It's extermination. And Nobunaga still isn't finished. 1570 to 1580. The Siege of Ishiyama Honganji. The most powerful Buddhist fortress in Japan. The headquarters of the Ikoiki movement. A city unto itself, defended by fanatic warriors who believe death in battle guarantees paradise. Nobunaga besieges it for 10 years. He blockades it by land and sea. He uses his ironclad ships to cut off supplies. He starves them, burns surrounding villages, kills anyone who aids them. Finally, in 1580 they surrender. But Nobunaga's war against the monasteries leaves a legacy of terror that will never be forgotten. His enemies call him the Demon King of the Sixth Heaven, a Buddhist term for a devil who destroys the righteous. Nobunaga embraces the title. When he defeats the Ase and Asakura clans, former allies who betrayed him, he doesn't just execute the leaders. He takes their skulls, covers them in gold lacquer, and uses them as drinking cups at a victory celebration. His generals drink sake from the gilded heads of their enemies. Fear becomes his weapon. Because Nobunaga understands something terrifying and true. People don't follow you because they love you. They follow you because they believe you will win. And they obey you because they know what happens if they don't. Was he a tyrant? Absolutely. Was he effective? Undeniably. By 1580, Nobunaga controls more than half of Japan. His capital Adazuchi is a monument to his vision, a 7-story castle covered in gold, blending European and Japanese architecture. Inside, European paintings hang beside Buddhist art. Christian missionaries are welcomed. New ideas flourish. It's a symbol of the future he's building. A Japan unified under his rule. Modern, powerful, free from the chaos of the Sengoku period. He's so close. Just a few more campaigns, a few more years, and then he can rest. But the higher you rise, the more dangerous the fall. And one of his most trusted generals is watching, waiting, planning. June 20th, 1582. Oda Nobunaga is at the height of his power. Most of Japan bows to him. His armies are the strongest in the land. His castle at Azuchi stands as proof that he has transformed Japan forever. He's traveling to the Western Front to support Toyotomi Hideyoshi, a peasant-born general who rose through brilliance and loyalty to become one of Nobunaga's most trusted commanders. But Nobunaga doesn't travel with a full army. He's confident, secure. He stops in Kyoto with just a small guard, a few dozen men. He stays at Hanoji Temple. Is supposed to be safe. Meanwhile, one of his generals is making a decision that will change everything. Akechi Mitsuhide, a brilliant strategist, a cultured man who writes poetry and studies the classics, a samurai who has served Nobunaga faithfully for years. But something has broken inside him. No one knows exactly why. Some say Nobunaga humiliated him publicly, mocked him in front of other generals, struck him, treated him like a servant. Others say Mitsuhide feared for his life. That Nobunaga's paranoia had grown so intense that no one was safe. That purges were coming. Maybe it was ambition. Maybe revenge. Maybe madness. Maybe it doesn't matter. What matters is this. Akechi Mitsuhide raises 13,000 troops. He tells them they're marching to join Hideyoshi in the west. But when they reach Kyoto, he gives a different order. The enemy is at Hanoji. His men are confused. Oh, and then they understand. They're going to kill Oda Nobunaga. June 21st, 1582. Thought. Nobunaga wakes to the sound of shouting. Footsteps. The clash of steel. He thinks it's a brawl. Some drunken samurai causing trouble. Then he sees the smoke. The temple is surrounded. Arrows rain down. Gunfire echoes. Nobunaga grabs a bow. He fights from the inner chambers, shooting arrow after arrow at the attackers flooding through the gates. His guards fight desperately, but they're hopelessly outnumbered. 13,000 against a few dozen. Nobunaga knows how this ends. He retreats to an interior room. He's wounded, exhausted. The building is burning around him. He doesn't panic. He doesn't beg. He sits down, picks up a blade, and performs seppuku, ritual suicide. He will not be captured. He will not give his enemies the satisfaction. Before he dies, he orders his attendant, A young man named Mori Ranmaru, possibly his lover, to set the temple ablaze so his body will never be found. Ranmaru obeys. The flames consume everything. The Demon King dies in fire, just like the enemies he burned. Nearby, at Nijo Castle, Nobunaga's eldest son and heir, Oda Nobunaga, hears the news. He could flee, escape, rebuild. Instead, he gathers his men and fights. He dies the same day. In a single night, the Oda dynasty is decapitated. Akechi Mitsuhide declares himself the new ruler of Japan. He sends messengers across the country, claiming Nobunaga's cruelty forced his hand, that he acted to save Japan from a tyrant. But the country doesn't rally to him, because 200 kilometers away, Toyotomi Hideyoshi receives the news. His lord is dead. The man who lifted him from nothing. The man he served with absolute loyalty. Hideyoshi is in the middle of besieging a castle. He's supposed to be weeks away from Kyoto, but he does the impossible. He negotiates a truce with his enemy in a single day. He marches his entire army back to Kyoto in a forced march that military historians still call miraculous, covering 200 kilometers in under a week. Mitsuhide has no time to consolidate power. 13 days after he killed Nobunaga, Hideyoshi's army meets Mitsuhide at the Battle of Yamazaki. The battle lasts 2 hours. Mitsuhide's forces collapse. He flees. While escaping through a bamboo grove, he's ambushed by peasants who don't even know who he is. They kill him for his armor. The man who killed the Demon King dies in a ditch, alone, unmourned. His reign lasted 13 days. Nobunaga's legacy would last forever. Oda Nobunaga never unified Japan. But the Japan he dreamed of, centralized, modern, powerful, became real. Toyotomi Hideyoshi completed Nobunaga's military campaigns. He conquered the last holdouts, brought the entire country under one rule, and even tried to invade Korea. Tokugawa Ieyasu, Nobunaga's ally and friend, founded the Tokugawa shogunate, a dynasty that would rule Japan for over 250 years in peace. There's an old Japanese saying, Nobunaga mixed the dough. Hideyoshi baked the bread. Ieyasu ate it. But without Nobunaga there would be no dough to mix. Because Nobunaga didn't just fight wars. He destroyed an old world and dragged a new one into existence. He broke the power of the Buddhist monasteries that had paralyzed Japan for centuries. He ended the dominance of the samurai codes that valued honor over victory. He introduced mass firearm tactics that revolutionized warfare. He rewarded talent over bloodline. Peasants could become generals in his army. He created free markets, built infrastructure, encouraged trade. He protected foreign knowledge and technology when others feared it. And yes, he did it through fire and fear. Through innovation and ruthlessness. Through vision and violence. The castle at Azuchi, his monument to the future, burned to the ground shortly after his death. Everything he built could have died with him. But it didn't. Because the world he imagined was stronger than the man who imagined it. So was he a hero? Or a monster? History doesn't give easy answers. The 20,000 people who burned at Nagashima would call him a demon. The nation he unified would call him a founder. The generals who followed him would call him a genius. The monasteries he destroyed would call him the devil incarnate. Maybe he was all of those things. Maybe that's what it takes to change the world. Because here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Progress isn't clean. Transformation isn't gentle. Revolutionary change requires revolutionary methods. Nobunaga looked at a Japan tearing itself apart, 100 years of endless war, of suffering, of chaos, and he made a choice. He would end it, no matter the cost, no matter who hated him, no matter what history would say. And he did. Not through mercy. Not through compromise. Not through appealing to tradition or waiting for the world to change on its own. He burned the old world down and built a new one in the ashes. Even though he didn't live to see it. Even though he died alone, surrounded by flames and betrayal, just like the enemies he destroyed. His legacy burned brighter than any fire he ever set. The Demon King is gone. But his Japan, modern, unified, powerful, endured for centuries. So I'll leave you with this. Was Oda Nobunaga a necessary force who saved Japan from endless war? Or a brutal tyrant who destroyed too much in the name of progress? Was he a visionary who saw the future clearly? Or a monster who justified atrocity with ambition? Maybe the answer is yes. To all of it, comment below. I genuinely want to hear what you think. And if this story moved you, if it made you think, if you want more history like this, hit that subscribe button. Share this video. Because stories like this, complex, tragic, controversial, these are the stories that matter. The Demon King is gone, but his fire still burns.